What's up, YouTubians? Gary with VW Jawbreaker. Welcome back to another quick, exciting episode today. Stick around. We'll get after it here in a second. Alright, so if you guys remember, we've made this little welding cart, little DIY welding cart. It's worked really well. I really enjoy it. Something I did not film, but kind of made this little bracket just to help hold everything up. So I've got quick, easy access to all my safety equipment, my PPE, measuring tape, chalk sticks, Sharpies, the whole 9 yards. And you know I've been running this Harbor Freight Titanium Unlimited 200 now for quite a while. And well, then I got an email from YESWELDER. YESWELDER said, hey, we want to send you our MIG-250 Pro. We want you to try this thing out. So let's dive into this and see exactly what we get in the box. All right, so here we go. You've got your MIG Pro 250. I like the fact that it's got a cover to help keep dust, dirt, debris, or whatever out. You've got your polarity up front here. And this, of course, is a 220 volt or 240 volt 50 amp plug. This is not a dual voltage machine, but that's all right. Comes with instructions. You've got extra rollers, contact tips, pretty much everything can go in there. It does come with your gas hose, 10-foot ground lead, 10-foot stinger for stick welding, because this is a multi-process. And of course this does have a nice 10-foot lead, MIG lead, and it's actually really nice. It's got kind of like a strain relief right there, and it kind of pivots, so that's nice. Same thing with the other side. Nice strain relief. So let's go ahead and set this puppy over on the cart and compare size-wise to the titanium and see what we're looking at. All right, one thing I did forget to mention is with your torch lead, you also get a graphite liner. That graphite liner makes it so you can replace the standard liner and then run aluminum through this liner. What does that mean? Well, that means you don't need a spool gun in order to weld aluminum. Again, this is DC, not AC DC. This is DC only. So with an argon bottle of gas, and you change out the liner, you could easily weld aluminum with this machine without a spool gun. Pretty cool. Now, something I did opt to get through YESWELDER was a couple things. For one, I decided to go ahead and get one of their flow regulators for my bottle, since this does not come with a regulator. They assume that you're going to either flux core or that you already have your own bottle and your own regulator. I went ahead and picked up a 10-pound spool of their 030 wire, and then I opted to get, and this is what I'm kind of excited about, I opted to get their 15-foot replacement torch lead. So we're going to hook up this 15-foot. You know what? Before we hook it up, let's compare the 15-foot to the 10-foot. All right, with the 15-footer here and the 10-footer there, you can see that the torch heads are slightly different. The strain relief is a little different, but it still has a strain relief. This one is more of a plastic on the 10-footer. And this is a metal on the 15-footer. Right here on the 10-footer, the red one, a little bit more of an angle right here, where the 15-footer has a little bit less of an angle. But other than that, I mean, they're physically the same size. They are very easy, very flexible. They still kind of pivot, which is very nice. So this should make getting into tighter areas a little easier. And then again, with the liner, It's just a matter of unscrewing right here, and you can pull the old liner out, put the new liner in. So let's go ahead and get the 15-foot and the ground cable and stuff set up on the welder, which fits really nice on that cart. And also make sure that when you hook up your gas line, you actually put a wrench on this and also on your line itself, on your hose. That way you don't, when you're tightening this, you don't accidentally twist the part going into the machine. So 2 wrenches, guys, make it last, make it work. All right, let's get it set up. So let's go ahead and dive in setting this puppy up and getting it loaded up with some wire. See how she works. All right, first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and hook up our ground lead. Again, we have a 10-foot ground lead here. Clamp is actually really nice. It's got the copper piece that goes in between the top and bottom. It's very springy, and it's also pretty flexible. With this DINS connector, you see the little nub there. So we're just gonna turn it in, rotate it, lock it in place. And because we're not flux core welding, we're gonna hook that up to the negative side. And then this portion here that comes from the welder, that's built into it, we're gonna go to the positive side. That's gonna be for our torch lead. And then this portion here is a Euro style connector, and this is where we're gonna hook up our torch lead. And believe it or not, I love the fact that this folds down and doesn't fold up. It makes it a little easier to get to. So with our 15-foot torch lead here, I made sure that the end was snug. And we're just gonna take it. It's actually really nice. Everything's kind of just built right in. So that just goes in, locks, and this just spins. And that's how simple it is. That's it. We are hooked up. That is nice. And again, the strain relief right here is nice. It's gonna keep from pinching anything. And this liner is actually really flexible. Of course, you want to make sure you don't kink it because you've got wire going inside. But it is very flexible. I'm really liking this. We haven't even welded with it yet. All right, let's get to putting in some wire. I kind of wish the door came over a little bit more. Right here is your adjustment for your wire tension. And then down here is a little thumb screw. Take this thumb screw off, which kind of got to reach around the corner a little bit. And then that is your drive roller that comes out of there. Oops, let's open it up. There we go. The drive roller comes out. And that's what helps give you different sizes of, depending on what size wire you're going to run, depends on what drive roller you're going to use. Now you've got the standard smooth, you've got some grooved, and you've got the U. The U and grooved and smooth all depends on the type of wire you're going to run. And of course it's marked with what size you need. Now that's just got that little keyway right there. So as long as that keyway lines up, slides right on. Put your thumb screw back on, snug it up. And that's simple. Let's load some wire in this bad boy. So we've got a little nut, got the spring for tension, and then the end plate. And this will hold the 1 pound, 2 pound, up to 10 pounds of wire. So let's go ahead and load that 10-pound wire in there. So again, we're using the YESWELDER 030 solid MIG wire. Now anytime that you want to run this MIG wire, you always want it to feed from the bottom. So you want your wire to come out from the bottom. So it's just a matter of setting that right there in place. And this is not as easy as some of the others, but there we go. Holds it in place pretty well so far. And we'll just go ahead and put the nut on there. Give it a little tension. You don't want this tight. You want it just to have a little bit of tension so it doesn't bird nest on you and free spool when you let up on the welder gun. All right, now that we got the spool on, we got it tensioned. And again, just want to snug it down. I'm just going to take the wire and feed it through this portion right here. And as soon as it starts to go through a little bit, we'll be able to lock it down. All right, that's right. It's got to go through the tip of the gun there. So there we go. Got it fed through just a little bit. Flip that back down. And there we go. Power switch on the back. Lift up our thing. Right now it's already set for 250 volts. So what we'll do is we're going to unscrew the tip here. Take our contact tip out. And right here, this little button for wire feed. Here, actually let me turn you a little bit. So you should be able to see the wire spool. We got a 15-foot lead to go through, so it's going to take a second. Alright, there we go. We've got wire out the end. Now it's a matter of just putting on the appropriate tip. There we go. That's snug back up. Take our cutters. That's it. Alright, so we got some 10 gauge, almost 1/8 inch plate here. We're gonna give that a whirl. And on our chart here, we're using CO2 MIG. So our welding current on this one is almost 2.5 millimeters. So we need to be right at 133 amps with 0.030 wire. So let's run over to the machine real quick. And we need to set up 133 amps. Now we are on the synergy mode. This thing keeps, yeah, so everything kind of adjusts for us. 030 wire, the synergy mode, it measures stuff. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not that great at this. But it's going to auto sense and should adjust the wire speed. So, let's go ahead and throw a couple tacks on this and then run a bead and see how she does. Alright, I apologize for the frame rate flicker, but if you notice here, we can actually change everything, go into manual mode if we want. So right now you've got mode, right now it's in synergy mode. We can go to flux core, we can go into TIG mode, and we can go into manual mode. And if you notice, amperage and everything is going to change depending on what mode you go in. Material, it's not really material. It's actually what gas are you using? Are you using 100% CO2? Using a CO2 argon mix? Using flux core? No gas. We're using 100% argon. For our situation, we'll be using a 75-25 mix. Your wire, it actually goes from 35 to 30 to 23. So it's just a matter of selecting what wire you want. Again, the manual feed button, that's really nice due to the fact that you don't have to pull the trigger and waste gas or forget to turn your bottle on or off in order to feed the wire. The only downfall so far that I see is the machine always stays on. The fan is always on when the machine is on. Not really that big of a negative. Alright, let's set up some test pieces. Alright, so I've got a scrap piece of 20 gauge here because I've been doing a lot of sheet metal work lately. So I want to just kind of hit it with some spots, kind of see how she does. We've got it set up. Well, one way to find out how she does. Oh, that's really hot. Really hot. All right, take two. All right, I would say overall, that looks really good. Nice heat. Not penetrating through, nice and clean for some not really clean metal. So let's switch over to something thicker and run a couple quick beads. I have to admit, that is not the cleanest material. Let's go with it. Alright, I am by no far an expert welder. But let's go ahead and flip it over. Oh, burned through a tad. I got decent penetration. Got pretty decent bead. Looks like it could probably be a smidge hotter to get through the other side a little better. But that's just a matter of tweaking some settings and really getting this machine figured out. These are the first, literally, seriously, the first 2 times I've worked with this. So, you know, just like any new machine, regardless of brand or anything, there's a little bit of getting used to, learning curve, if you will. So as we do some more welding, as you see behind, got a Volkswagen Beetle we're building. So make sure you check it out. Lots of cool stuff. Now, I am going to let you know that there is a link down in the description. If you click that link, it'll take you to this machine. And if you type in VW Jawbreaker, you'll get a 10% off. Kind of cool, something that YESWELDER's doing. It's a very reasonable price machine for what you get. Honestly, I have a feeling I'm going to like this a lot better than the Harbor Freight one I've been using. So make sure you check that link out below. And quick disclaimer, I didn't know this at the time. I asked for something I could pass on to you guys. They said, hey, sign up here, do this. Come to find out, I do make a couple bucks on it. But just like my merchandise, my t-shirts and all that stuff, any proceeds from the welders are going to be donated straight to charity. It's not about me making money, it's about passing it along. So, I think this will be a great addition to the shop. Looking forward to using this welder a lot on this car. Got a lot of work to do. So, appreciate you sticking around. Thanks for checking it out. We'll have lots of update videos coming up on this, so stay tuned. Guys, have a wonderful day. Enjoy. Be kind to one another, and be good.